Hey guys, so 2020 has been quite a year and I'm feeling a little trapped, a little claustrophobic, and I need to get out. And I've always found that the best way to leave my problems behind is to literally leave them behind. So what I've decided to do is go and take a 2-day backpacking journey. I will be going into one of the state forests in Pennsylvania. In PA, any of the state forests you can camp in. You don't need a permit unless you're staying more than one night, and since I'm only off 2 days in a row, that's what we're gonna make happen. Let me walk you through what I'm taking with me. All right, so this is everything. It's quite a bit. We'll start with the most important thing. That's this. That's the backpack in the back. Gotta have something to carry everything with. And then we also have our handy dandy trusty tent. It's definitely a two-person, so I'll have plenty of space out there. This bag is a watertight waterproof bag. That's where all the food will go. I've got 2 breakfasts along with 2 dinners. I'll be taking a couple of sandwiches with me for lunch. We also have some trail mix and some beef jerky, because there's nothing that puts me more in the mood to be outdoors than beef jerky. I have hiking poles. That'll be important because we'll be doing a good amount of elevation. A machete for chopping firewood. I can't live without coffee. These are pour over coffee packs. All you need to do is boil water and pour it over. I always bring a brightly colored bandana. Great for sweat, but even better if I need something to show where I am. For water, we have a 3-liter bladder. That way I can drink through the straw on the trail. A 1-liter Nalgene. Added bonus is it also has these grades here to let you know how much water to put into your handy dandy meals. Gotta have a cup for the coffee, and we gotta have some way to heat the water, so I've got myself a nice fuel canister, an attachable camp stove, and a little condensed cook pot. I'm sure you know what this is. Always better safe than sorry. I do also have a water filtration system, which will hook up directly to this bottle or bag. I did make sure we have a nice bright colored bag, that way I don't lose it if we're at night. I always bring a whole bunch of string with me because it doesn't really weigh a whole lot and you never know what you're going to need it for. This bracelet, if you unwrap it, it's got 150 yards of paracord, a whistle, a flashlight, and a compass. Just in case everything's wet from all the rain recently, I've got some fire starters, toilet paper, the most valuable item in 2020, a headlamp because I will be hiking in at night, toothbrush, knife, and over here, maybe my most important stuff, sleeping bag. Probably not going to get too cold because it's the middle of August, but this right here is a sleeping mat that inflates to about 3 inches, so I'll be guaranteed a good night's sleep, because there is nothing better to start your day than waking up fresh. Alright, more to come. Okay, so this is it. We're done work. It is 5:44. The estimated route time is about 2 hours. That puts me there just before 8. I do plan on stopping to get something to eat. Hopefully I'll still have at least half an hour of daylight to find the trailhead and really get started. But yeah, the first step of the journey is to get there. So here we go. Well, it's looking good. This is definitely the parking lot, which is fantastic because there are other cars here. So I have pretty good confidence, given that it's almost 8 o'clock, that I will not get towed. So I'm gonna grab me a parking spot and yeah, check this place out. All right, so we made it. This is the parking spot. I have my whole backpack on, 5 liters of water. Since I will be hiking As night descends, I do have my handy dandy headlamp, some trekking poles, because I heard that this is a very rocky trail. It is part of the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian in Pennsylvania is notorious for being very rocky. So if you're gonna do it, I really recommend some good solid hiking boots. All right, I'm gonna get started. All right, so the parking lot is not the trailhead. It is maybe a 10-minute hike, a little bit of uphill, coming back from back there. And this is where we enter the forest. Wish me luck. So I just had my first heart-stopping moment being out here solo. A deer came across the trail just up ahead and looked right at me when I was shouting "Hey bear," and all I could see are the glowing eyes from the reflection of my headlamp. So I backed off, heart pounding, and then it turned away and I saw the white tail. But whew, I've got my bear spray much closer now, and onwards we go. All right. Does that work? It's a little better. All right. So I'm about 3.25 miles into the trail. It's been a lot of this. I hope you can see that. Just tunnel vision, watching my footing. There's been a lot of rocks. I'm on a nice downhill, which is fantastic, but it's really super disorientating because with all that tunnel vision, out of nowhere comes this. What is that? Like, really? What in the world? So it turns out there's it looks like a logging path over there, and they're putting some heavier pieces of metal down for the trucks or what have you, but totally not something I was expecting while I was out here. Anyway, I've got, well, the campsite's at the 4-mile mark, so it's all downhill, and yeah, I'm gonna make it within the hour. All right, check in soon. So I made it to camp. Thank goodness. Hiking at night is very different than hiking during the daytime. Wonderful in its own way. You probably hiked further than was, ideal, but got a great campsite because of it. I am right by a stream. There's a nice fire pit, a nice even place of ground for me to put a tent, just barely big enough. A few rocks, but I have a nice sleeping mat, so that shouldn't bother me. Right now, I've got just a little fire going in the fire pit, courtesy of leftover wood. I am breaking out my camping stove here. I don't know, there we go. That's fuel canister. The stove itself is inside the pot. All I have to do is boil some water, and I'm gonna have me some beef stroganoff tonight. A nice little reward. It's one of my favorite meals, like the instant meals. And I'm gonna sit back and relax before bed. It did take me about 2.5 hours to make 4 miles. But I was taking my time and enjoying life. I would love to show you my campsite right now, but given how dark it is and how tough it is to film at night, I figure I'll get a good shot of it in the morning for you. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Good morning. So, had a pretty good night. I actually woke up cold, which is fantastic. I was definitely not expecting that. It's been super humid the whole time I've been here, and the weather forecast was saying it'd be like 70 degrees at night, 90 degrees in the daytime. Right now, it's very overcast. I woke up, took a nice tour of the campsite and the camp area now that I can see because the sun's up. Right now, I am making some coffee because every day should start with coffee. Alright. Hey, so on the subject of coffee, I figured I should probably show you how I make it. I'm essentially doing the work of the coffee machine. You just throw some water on your stove. We have these nice easy travel pour over coffee packs. They just kind of sit on the rim of the cup and you pour hot water into them. These ones are Vietnamese style coffee packs, and they also come with a nice dollop of like condensed milk, so I'm gonna treat myself a little bit today. Yeah, I'll show you around camp after. Hey, so I've been seeing a lot of some of my favorite plants around here. One of the particular ones that stuck out was sassafras. You can always tell sassafras, just usually it'll have 3 little lobes on it. They're very rounded, but more than anything, you can usually smell it, especially if some of the leaves are broken, because if you just crush one and you give it a good whiff, it smells exactly like Fruit Loops. Like, I'm pretty sure that's where they got that flavor and taste from. Alright. As I sit here in this beautiful campsite, enjoying some blueberry granola and coffee with condensed milk, it hits me that, like, 2020 has been a crazy year with politics and civil rights and coronavirus and all of the other things in our day-to-day too, relationships, people, kids, job, all of that, you know, and it's crazy. It's hard sometimes, you know. It's hard to keep going and stay focused and, you know, keep moving towards that next level of greatness. But we are so lucky to be living when we are, you know. I can have coffee. I can have Vietnamese style coffee while I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know, I have a tent that weighs less than like 5 pounds, whereas back in the day people would carry these huge canvas tents that were like 60 pounds and all that. And I'm walking through the forest, I'm sleeping by myself at night, and I have no worries of bandits or anything like that, or that my stuff will get stolen or anything. It's really very amazing. So as far as, you know, how bad things are right now, we gotta remember how far we've come, because that's what makes humanity so awesome. So behind me is the first campsite I came to last night, and it was dark. I could just barely see it from the trail, but I'm glad I kept pushing. I ended up with a much better campsite by the waterfall, as I'm sure you saw. I just passed a couple of guys at a campsite just a little bit before where I camped. If they're not there tonight, that's where I think I'm going. Their fire ring had 3 fire pits. Looked like there was a good amount of firewood there, and it's right by the reservoir. It is 1,000,000% humid, and I'm gonna be gross by the end of the day. So it'll be really nice to be able to go swimming in that reservoir. Anyway, this is where we're going. Gotta love those white blazes. Markers of the Appalachian Trail. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling. I just passed a couple on the trail. They said they broke some of the cobwebs for me, which is fantastic. They are only the 3rd and 4th people that I've seen since I got here last night around 8. I'm loving that. This feeling of isolation is kind of amazing, very liberating, very freeing. You know, I've got everything I need with me, you know, clothes and food and water, a way to get more water. I have my cell phone and batteries, of course, because I'm using it for the All Trails app and navigation. But other than that, there aren't hardly any worries out here. You're focused on the moment. You know, what's around that next bend? Where am I putting my feet? That kind of thing. All stuff that is very much controllable. And it's a wonderful way to recenter. All right, back to it. I am really looking forward to getting back there and taking that swim, man. I'm so gross. All right. So I'm at the lookout. It's lunchtime. Enjoying some trail mix and some jerky and all that. I'm looking around and I saw some pokeweed. I'll show you that too. But I also saw this. Now the front part doesn't look all that amazing. Very dead, very dehydrated. But that is actually wild blackberry. And if you look, the blackberries are almost perfectly ripe. And I know that they're blackberries because, well, Dad grows blackberries, so I'm familiar with them. They've got longer thorns than raspberries do. And the thorns tend to alternate. And yeah, I think I'm gonna try some. So that was a pretty cool overlook. I think the first one had a slightly better view, at least a wider view. I really liked the mountains in the background on this one though. And there were these hawks, maybe half a dozen hawks that were just circling and hanging out on the air currents. It was amazing. I found a big flat rock to lay on and used a pillow to prop my head up and just watch the day go past. It was bliss. And it's only 2:30. I could have easily spent another couple hours there and still gotten back to the campsite in time to set up camp, collect firewood, and go for a swim, but I feel so gross. I think I'm gonna make that happen now. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. I've made it back to the campsite I spent last night at. We are expecting thunderstorms tonight, so I've got the rain fly up, hence why the tent looks a little different. And it occurs to me that the Perseid meteor showers tonight. Thank you, Brie. And I'm really seriously considering hiking back up to that overlook to get like a really good view of the sky. We'll see what the weather brings, but right now the skies are pretty clear. So I'm taking this opportunity to dry out all of my life, because either sweat or water or other forms of humidity, and nothing really dries here just because we're straight downwind of this waterfall. So like all the water particles are just a perpetual source of humidity. On the upside though, it does have like an air conditioning kind of quality, which thank goodness for. Hey there. So it's a bad news, good news, bad news, good news kind of situation. The bad news is I made it back to the campsites, and that campsite that I was telling you about that I had my eye on is already taken. But the good news is I was able to jump in the reservoir using rope swing, and I'll take some footage of that for you tomorrow. And the water was so cold and refreshing. It's exactly what I needed. I was able to get off all the bug spray and the sweat and the nastiness. Admittedly, it is reservoir water, so not the cleanest, and I was gonna filter some water and use a bandana to kind of bird bath it. But then came the other bad news, and that's thunder. So they're predicting scattered thunderstorms tonight. It's raining just a little bit right now. I could probably still be outside, but I'm tired and it's comfy in here, so here I be. And the good news is that I was able to chop a whole bunch of firewood, so if this does blow over, I'll be able to have a nice fire. And the tent is up, and the rain fly is on, and I should be snug as a bug in a rug. So it's the morning of departure. I noticed that there were some interesting mushrooms growing around the campsite. I am pretty sure that they are smooth puffballs, which are allegedly an edible mushroom. I'm not going to eat them because I'm not sure, but I did take some pictures and cut it in half to get a cross section so I can identify it later. According to the identification book, I'm pretty confident that it is indeed a smooth puffball, which is exciting for me. You know, little things, but it's what makes me happy. This is it. I'm packed up. It's like 8:15. Getting ready to head back and hike back to the car. They're calling for scattered thunderstorms between like 11 and 2, so I'm hoping I get back to the car before the rain starts. I had enough of being drenched either in sweat or water. Kind of parting is such sweet sorrow, you know. And taking a couple minutes to just sit by the creek one more time and let nature wash away all the woes before I come back to the real world. Thank you for joining me. This has been a good trip. Whew. It's an entirely different hike back than the hike in. It's the same trail, but two big differences. First, it's daytime, so I can see everything, which is amazing. The second big reason is it's been like nonstop uphill, whereas the way in was nonstop downhill, and I am winded. But I mentioned those road work ahead signs. There's a good chance to see them in the daytime. It's just hiking along here, dot, 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 dot. And then, hey, right, civilization does exist. Here, let's see what's beyond. So, I don't know what exactly they're doing. Oh, here comes a truck. But they're definitely doing something. See? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting out of their way, and I'm gonna keep going. Alright, so for those of you who know me, you'll know that I don't usually eat breakfast first thing in the morning. And today was one of those days. You know, I woke up and had my coffee and I wasn't really all that hungry. So I figured I'd pack up camp and start hiking and eat when I got hungry. That moment just arrived. So I found a couple of nice sitting logs along the trail. It's a nice relief to have that backpack off, man. It was a lot of uphill on the way back. The trail is kind of leveled out a little bit, which is nice, and I think it'll be fairly smooth for the way back. Just, you know, your standard Pennsylvanian rocky trail. But for now, mealtime. What do I have? So my last dehydrated meal for this trip is a breakfast skillet. Let's see what it's got. We're looking at shredded potatoes, scrambled eggs, pork sausage, peppers, and onions. Sounds pretty good. 500 calories. That should definitely fill the hole in my stomach right now and keep me going. Add 10 ounces of water. Let's see, I'm just above 14. That'll do. Oh, that's a nice cold little refresher. You can't see the camp stove, but on it goes. On the water. Comfortable a little faster. And doesn't seem like I'm taking the same trail that I took on the way in. It's hard to tell because I hiked in at night. But if I am on the wrong trail, that's actually even better because this one has been a lot smoother and a lot more obvious as opposed to the one I took on the way in and got lost a couple of times. I seem to be heading in the same general direction, so I'll just keep an eye on things and hope that I come out at the right spot. Alright, so the water has boiled, still bubbling, which is a good thing. I've got the meal open, and I know it doesn't look amazing, but trust me, when you're out here, to have a breakfast like this is such a blessing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love trail mix, and beef jerky is like an absolute must-have for trail food for me. But you always crave like those meals like you would get at home. I didn't feel like bringing a skillet out and carting around eggs, much less trying to keep them cold. Refrigeration really, it's pretty difficult on trail. So for convenience, these things are spectacular. You just dump it in the water, seal it up, hard to do one-handed, and essentially just wait. You've kind of got the idea. All right, so that short wait is over. It is time to eat. Take a look. Again, doesn't maybe look perfectly appetizing, but imagine if you had like sausage and hash browns and scrambled eggs on a plate and then just stirred it all up. I'm pretty sure that's what it will look like. I feel like the one thing that could make this better would be like a grilled buttered tortilla to wrap it all in. Maybe a little ketchup. And then it'd be like something you get, I don't know, as a grab and go at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Alright, let's give it a shot. It is hot. Oh, that's bliss. Whoa. Wow. You can almost like feel the life like trickle down your throat. It like when you're really hot and you have that first drink of cold water, and you feel it kind of like spread throughout you. I'm getting energy back and life is beginning to look better. The day is more manageable, the hike is more enjoyable, and that's just one bite and I'm already feeling it. Man, maybe I should start eating breakfast regularly. Oh, it's good life. I was a little worried that I wasn't following the right trail because of the map, but not even 100 yards later, I come past the White Blaze, and those are traditionally the blaze of the Appalachian Trail, so I guess I must be doing something right, huh? After all, I am taking the Appalachian back to Pennsylvania State Route 183. There's a parking lot for me, so here's hoping I make it to the right spot. Yup. So I got lost on whatever night it was that I arrived here by taking this fork straight ahead. I saw the double white marks, thinking Appalachian Trail. All Trails map was telling me straight ahead, so I just kept trucking. Turns out there's another branch off here, which I missed entirely. Also denoted by those white marks. That trail was much easier. Not sure this one's entirely a trail, but you know, live and learn. Something to look forward to on the next time I come out at night. So I've hiked in the nighttime. I thought I saw a bear, a couple other scary things, but as we approach the main road, which will lead to the parking lot and say goodbye to the trail, I'm finding that the biggest anxiety is still yet to come, and is my car still in the parking lot? I really hope it is. There's nothing for it but to find out. So, you might be able to guess, given that I'm not in a state of panic. My car is still where I left it, and my salvation is at hand. Air conditioning. In all seriousness, whoever invented air conditioning probably deserves more credit and like the Nobel Prize. Thank you for improving the lives of everyone who has access to it. Yeah, you've officially changed my life forever, and for the better, so thank you. All right, I'm going to pack up, get in, enjoy the AC for maybe a minute or two before I hit the road, and then we're just homeward bound. Thank you so much for joining me. Maybe one day you'll be able to get out here too, sooner rather than later maybe. If not, enjoy this adventure from the pleasure of your air-conditioned apartment, home, and or couch. Later, guys.